want to talk to you guys about going to the vet.
Hi! 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 Hi!
Welcome to our channel.
Hello.
If you enjoy learning about reptiles and having a good laugh, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button.
Hit.
Smash it. Smash it. Smash it right now. And don't forget to hit that notification bell.
Hit the
Smash it. Okay.
Mash.
So, I'm here with Hercules. He's a Superdwarf Reticulated Python. I find them to be the most challenging. They're my favorite for how smart they are. Like, they look at you and they seem to know who you are. I feel that out of all my snakes, the retics really kind of are the ones that recognize you. What I find to be the biggest challenge with them is that, as you see, they want to explore, they want to go move, they want to do things, they want to be out and about. So they are the most difficult to get to settle in their homes. If it ends up being a little too warm, they try to get out. If it's too cold, probably the same thing. If anything is off, if they don't have enough places to hide, if the temps are off at all, if the humidity is, like, if anything is off with them, they can start moving around. Like right here, Jasmine, I believe, is about to lay eggs. And she's really trying to get out, which she wasn't doing before she was about to lay eggs. So I've covered up her enclosure to kind of calm her down so that she's not always trying to get away. So that's another thing sometimes you have to do. Sometimes they feel safer if it's a little bit more dark. So to me, they're the most finicky of all my snakes. They take the most work. They pee and poop a bit more than boas do. So now what ends up happening is, because they rub their faces a lot, they can end up getting like pimples or abscesses in their mouth. And you probably should go to a doctor or a vet to deal with these things. But the nearest vet for me is about 2 hours away. And then I don't even know if they'd be able to deal with it, or if they do, how much it will cost. So this is something that you really have to think about and consider before getting an animal, because you're going to have to make choices for that animal. The other day I looked on Facebook, and some lady basically spent $600 trying to fix her rabbit. And here comes Avery to distract me. She couldn't open the door. Okay, so she spent $600 for a vet to like do some surgery on a rabbit, and a rabbit still isn't getting better. Now, I totally understand people falling in love with their animals and wanting to do everything to save their lives. The same thing with rats. You know, at about 2 years of age, the rats can start getting tumors and stuff, and then they go to the vet, and the vet removes the tumor, and then the tumor comes back, and it just goes back and forth. And a $20 animal, now you've spent hundreds of dollars trying to keep. And to me, I understand it, but I don't feel that way at all. To me, if it's lived its life, or it has this issue or whatever, I'd rather feed it to a snake and get a new one. I've had a pet rabbit before too, and I loved it, but I wouldn't spend $600 on it. And that's what you have to think about. Most of the snakes I sell are about $100 to $400. And if you buy yourself, let's say, a $300 snake, do you want to have to spend hundreds of dollars to fix it? Are you willing to? You know? And that's what you have to think about. And we have to be reasonable, because, for instance, the snakes that were born a little bit premature. Now imagine I took all these premature snakes that most likely wouldn't make it. Some of them made it, and some of them didn't. And that's normal, that's what I expected to happen. I don't feel like I did anything wrong. If anything, lots of those would not have made it, and most baby snakes will not make it in the wild. They'll just die, they'll feed the forest. They're basically the worms of the forest when they're born. So I care about my animals a lot, but you have to be realistic. You can go to the vet for everything and they're happy to help you and take your money, but there's no guarantees. So I've done a lot of things myself that I'm not really qualified to do. I'm not a vet, so I shouldn't be doing these things, and you shouldn't be doing these things. I've been taking care of snakes for 8 years, and every problem that I deal with I've looked up and learned about. Now, for instance, Hercules here, he had some abscesses in his mouth. Ivy's had them before, and I've been able to remove them. And I look at it kind of like popping a pimple. So it's not like intense surgery or anything, and it's not anything that needs to be stitched up. I'm sure like it could probably be cut open and stitched up and stuff, but I don't know how to stitch an animal up, and I don't want to. But with the abscesses on Ivy and with the abscesses on Hercules, I've been able to remove them myself, and I've done it a few times, and it's gotten better. For Hercules, he actually had a tooth stuck in his gums that I took out. And I've been doing these things for a while, and I haven't really shared or told anyone because it's just like, I don't really want to get bashed on it. But then some of my friends have been like, you know what, you should just show people you doing it, because it's entertaining, people find it interesting. This week on Thursday I'm going to show you a video where I remove an abscess from Hercules' mouth, and as you see, Hercules now, like, he's healing and it's getting better. You really do have to consider, like, what are you willing to do? Like, every time something's wrong, are you going to take your animal to the vet and spend hundreds of dollars? Now the thing is, I'm not putting down all vets, because some vets are probably very excellent and know their stuff. And the example that I think of is, I have mental health issues, okay? So I have like borderline personality disorder and ADD and stuff. And what ends up happening for me is my whole life I've gone to doctors and psychiatrists, psychologists and all that. And as a kid I said, you know what? Could you please send me to a doctor that has ADD? Could you send me to a doctor that has borderline? Could you send me to a doctor that understands what I'm going through? Because if there's a doctor that's lived with it, who's going to be better to treat me? Because they've overcome it, they've learned to deal with it. But I never found any doctors that had my issues. So instead, as a kind of messed up child, going to a doctor who really has studied, they've learned about my disorders and whatever, and they think they understand it, but that's nothing compared to the first-hand knowledge. Lots of them have gone to school and they've studied and they've learned and they know a lot of stuff, but to me, somebody else that has been dealing with snakes all the time for 40 years, to me is going to have a lot more experience and a lot more knowledge. So anything that I can kind of do myself or learn myself or treat myself, I'll do. And I won't just like do it blindly. I'll go look, try and find videos of people doing it, or I'll ask other keepers that I know are much more experienced than me. And so far, that's how I deal with everything, and I haven't had a lot of issues. Now, when doing those things, you are taking risk, but that's up to you to choose. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that for a bit, and it's been over 10 minutes, so I'll see you on Thursday, and you'll get to see firsthand what I'm talking about. If you have thoughts on the matter, share them, and I'll see you next week, or see you on Thursday. Yeah, that was wonderful, wasn't it? Now make sure you
Circle.
yeah, click the circle.
Yeah, I did.
And then watch this video or this one.
No.
Yeah?
No.
Yes. It's not that hard.
Which one appeals to you more? Is it this one or is it this one?